Welcome to Beyond the Scar, C-section stories and strategies for healing. This podcast is dedicated to helping cesarean moms not just recover, but truly thrive after their birth surgery. I'm your host, Nicole Alfred, registered massage therapist and C-section recovery coach. And I'm here to guide you through your journey of postpartum recovery with a blend of real life stories and expert advice. Each week, we dive into the experiences of incredible moms who have navigated their own recovery paths. And then we're also going to hear from experts who provide actionable strategies for a holistic approach to your postpartum. From physical healing and emotional support to practical tips for balancing self-care with motherhood, this podcast is here to equip you with the tools and the inspiration that you need to live a healthy, fulfilling life after birth. So, whether you are in the early stages of recovery or you're looking for ways to enhance your healing journey, you're in the right place. Let's get started and thrive together. Welcome to Beyond the Scar podcast, the podcast that helps you thrive after cesarean birth. I'm Nicole, your host and recovery coach, and I'm excited to have you here for this very inaugural episode, our second episode, which is all about something I'm really passionate about, which is helping you heal your core after a C-section. Why is core recovery so important? Your core is not just your abs. It's the foundation of your body's movement and stability. So after a cesarean, your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor undergo a lot of stress and trauma, and this can lead to core dysfunctions like back pain, incontinence, and weakness. But the right approach, you can regain strength and feel good in your body again. In this episode, I'll be sharing strategies to safely rebuild your core, starting from day one after giving birth. I'm going to be sharing my own story with core dysfunction to show you that healing is possible. Then I will walk you through some exercises that have transformed not only my own recovery, but also the recoveries of many of the women that I've worked with. So let me take a moment to share my own story. When I was 18 months postpartum from my first cesarean delivery, which is an emergency, I pushed for about an hour before we gave birth via cesarean, and I was working out with a trainer. It was 18 months. I was like, all right, let's get my body back in shape. And the trainer did not have an understanding of postnatal fitness, but she also didn't have an understanding of post-surgical, post-C-section rehab as well. So, but I had already done the work, right? Being a registered massage therapist for so many years, I had already done my own rehab. At least I thought I had. I had already seen my pelvic physio, got the doctors, okay to go back to exercise. I mean, I was already a year and a half at this point. And what ended up happening was I started slowly feeling some lower back discomfort. And I thought, oh, my baby's heavy. I'm back to work as a massage therapist. I'm lifting weights at the gym. Maybe I just need to stretch more. And then one day I was leg pressing on an incline and I sneezed. Actually, I peezed. If anyone knows what that is, it's when you pee sneeze. So embarrassing. And my trainer did not know how to help me. She wasn't educated in post-surgical rehab. She didn't understand postnatal fitness in the way that I did. And so we really had to scale. I had to go take a course, by the way. And then once I came back from the course, I taught her everything I knew. And we had to scale back my workouts so that I was actually learning how to engage into my core. Finally led me to actually see the improvements in my recovery, in my core recovery, was doing these very simple breathing exercises, which I think a lot of people discount because, you see online on TikTok, on Instagram, it's these like core workouts, planks and dead bug and, sit-ups and whatever leg, lifts. But it's actually really simple breathing exercises that we need to be focusing on. And that actually, although it was frustrating because I just so wanted to get back into shape and look a certain way and wanted to get back into lifting my heavy weights, I couldn't. For at least 6 weeks, I had to focus in on reconnecting to my pelvic floor. And I actually didn't need to strengthen my pelvic floor. I needed to reconnect to the control of the contraction and relaxation. But I actually, because of the incontinence, I actually had my pelvic floor was too tight. So I had to do the reverse pelvic floor. I had to, focus on the relaxation of my pelvic floor more than anything, and not just always having it constantly tense, which is really common for people who've experienced a emergency cesarean. Because of the trauma, your pelvic floor can naturally just tighten up. So, everything that I kind of went through in my own journey, any setbacks and anything that I'd been through in my recovery and in my fitness after my first baby, led me to here where I am today, where I'm going to be sharing and guiding you through some strategies that I know has worked for me and I know has worked for all of the clients that I've worked with. And I do these strategies every time I've had a baby, every cesarean, which is 3. And they are so simple and so easy. It almost feels like you're not doing anything, but I promise you, if you stick with it and if you follow the order of strengthening your core properly, you are not going to be paying for it a year and a half like I did later after birth, or even years after. So let's talk about, starting core recovery safely. One of the first and most powerful tools that you can use is something called 360 breathing or core breathing. This is a simple technique that activates your deep core muscles. So not just your rectus abdominis muscles that kind of go along the front of you that give you the 6-pack look, but the actual deeper core muscles. And it is safe to begin these exercises immediately after giving birth. Like, I'm talking, you're in the recovery room and you could start doing that breath work. Not to say that you'll remember to do it, but it's safe enough to do it. So let me walk you through how to do that right now. So the first thing you're going to do, and again, this can be done in any position, but if you want to just first get that connection and idea of it, because it is a very coordinated type of technique, you could begin by finding a comfortable position. So you can lay on your back, you can be propped up with pillows, you can sit in a chair. I know some clients that like to sit on stability balls. You can even roll up a towel and put it in between your legs, like sitting on it in your pelvic bone. You can also use a pool needle in your pubic bone area as well. And so that kind of gives you that feeling and that connection to where you're actually going to be relaxing and connecting to. The first thing you're going to do is take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. So as you inhale, I want you to think about expanding your rib cage on all sides, right? Rib cage is not just the front. You have the side rib cage and you also have the back. Your belly should be gently rising. We're not doing this kind of yoga breathing where you're focusing on the belly button going all the way up and then squeezed down into the spine. You're really focusing your breath in that rib cage. Then you're going to exhale through your mouth. This is going to allow your rib cage to contract and your belly to gently lower. When you are doing your exhalation, so when you're letting your air out and your rib cage is contracting in, this is where you're going to be engaging in your pelvic floor as you exhale. So it almost seems counterintuitive. Like when you inhale, you're relaxing your pelvic floor. And then when you exhale, you're contracting, okay? So I want you to emphasize that it's not just about contracting your pelvic floor and strengthening your core. Not everyone needs that, especially after a cesarean, where it's very common that you already are tight because of stress or because of, babysitting on there for 9 months. Many people who've had a cesarean experience too much tension in the pelvic floor. So if you feel tightness or like a heaviness or a pain in that area, or you just feel like you don't have, when you're inhaling, that you just can't let anything go, then you want to focus on the reverse Kegel. Like I said, this is all about the relaxation. So the reverse Kegel is on your inhale, you're imagining your pelvic floor lowering and opening like a flower blooming. That is my favorite visualization, is of a flower just like opening up its petals. And you want to allow it to fully relax and let go of that tension. And then in your exhale, instead of kind of squeezing and tightening up like a Kegel and maintaining like tension, You want to maintain that sense of relaxation. So you're going to just do a gentle pull up, like almost like you're sucking through a straw, but you don't want to be going too hard. You want to focus more on the relaxation, like we said, with the reverse Kegel. And again, this is for people that feel like they are very tight in that area. They hold a lot of tension. Maybe you're having discomfort with intercourse or insertion. That's another sign of a tight pelvic floor. You're maybe having incontinence. So it's not like, yes, sometimes I sneeze and pee. If you pee with like sneezing, jumping, laughing, running, even if it's a tiny bit, you have incontinence. So you want to focus on that. And there's other things as well, more complicated to focus on, but really that reverse Kegel is going to come handy for you. This approach helps you create that balance. It's going to ensure that you're not just adding more tension when you actually need flexibility in that area of your body. A relaxed pelvic floor is just as important as a strong one. So if you've been told to strengthen your core, but you feel discomfort still, you may need to focus on releasing the tension instead of contracting. Let's talk about making this a part of your daily routine, because as a new mom, it's hard to fit all of these little pieces of self-care in. But this one's really going to make a big difference. And the best part about these types of exercises is they don't require a lot of time. You can incorporate 360 breathing and reverse Kegels into your day with just 5 minutes. Try doing them while sitting, laying down, standing on all fours. And over time, progress these exercises by doing them in the different positions, or even adding in gentle movements like leg lifts, squatting, any kind of Pilates type exercise. And then to progress even further from there, incorporating them in with your daily life. So when you're lifting up your baby and you're performing your daily tasks around your house, you're going to do that breath work, as well as when you go to the gym and you're lifting weights and you're exercising. That's how you really build that strong foundation of your core and connection to your pelvic floor, when you're actually incorporating it into exercises, when you're incorporating it into your daily life. For example, when you're standing in the shower, you can practice a few rounds of reverse Kegels. Or, if your baby is doing tummy time, you can lay on your back, put your feet together, open your knees, and practice a reverse Kegel there. You really want to start small. You want to be consistent, and soon these exercises will feel like second nature to you. But the biggest takeaway here is that it has to feel simple, and it actually can be incorporated into what you're already doing throughout the day at home. So I hope in today's episode, I've given you some insight and strategies to kickstart your core recovery. Remember, healing is a process, and every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. In the next episode, we're going to dive deeper into some scar mobilization techniques, why it's important, how it can relieve pain, and ways to start safely working on your scar at home. If you are needing some extra support and you're feeling lost in your recovery, make sure to join us in my free class, 3 Ways to Take Control of Your Recovery. And make sure you also subscribe so you don't miss out on an episode. And if you found this value in our content today, I'd love for you to share this podcast with a fellow mom who could benefit. Until next time, I'm Nicole, and you're listening to Beyond the Scar, hoping you heal, recover, and thrive after your cesarean birth. Bye for now.